Like every day, the Coast Guard stands ready, protecting America's waters and upholding maritime law. Guarding 95,000 miles of U.S. coastline, the Coast Guard conducts 16,000 search and rescue cases by boat, helicopter, and brave men and women. And when the mission is connection, pride, and unity, the Coast Guard band takes the stage. For 100 years, they've lifted hearts, honored the fallen, and stirred pride from sea to shining sea. They remind the nation who we are and why we serve. They carry the spirit of the service, always ready, Semper Paratus. Coast Guard values that guide all our missions, from coast to coast and all points in between. From international waters to right here in Weymouth, Massachusetts, we are your United States Coast Guard! Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of our director, Captain Adam Williamson, welcome to this special performance by your United States Coast Guard Band. I am musician first class Allison Landstedt, and I will be your narrator for this afternoon's concert. We are honored to perform here in Weymouth at this historic event that honors our country and the brave men and women who have served in the armed forces. This Memorial Day, we celebrate the courage, sacrifice, and patriotism that makes this nation truly great. Before we dive into the music, let's start with something a little bit fun, and this part involves you. Don't worry, it's just a quick, lighthearted way to kick off the day and get to know someone new. So take a moment, look around to the person nearest you, whether it's a friend, a neighbor, or somebody you've never met before. Turn to them and share something fun. If you could choose any superpower to have for the day, what would it be? Maybe you'd fly like Superman or have super strength like the Hulk? Go ahead, take a quick 20 seconds, share your superpower with each other. Okay, my dreamers and doers. Now that we've shared some fun ideas, let's get back to the action. We just heard Semper Paratus, the official song of the United States Coast Guard, and then we stood together for our national anthem, a beautiful reminder of the freedoms we hold dear. Next, we'll bring you two powerful works that highlight the spirit of heroism and resilience. We begin with music from award-winning film composer Bruce Broughton. You might recognize his works from Disney favorites like The Rescuers Down Under, Homeward Bound, and popular westerns such as Silverado. This piece is called American Hero, and it's a triumphant and energetic ode to the spirit of America. And following that, we'll share Storm and Sunshine, a raucous circus march written in 1905 by J.C. Heed. We hope you can feel the unbridled energy in these next two pieces. This next set features our brilliant clarinet soloist, chief musician Noel Marcano, and a piece that mingles beautiful lines with intense virtuosity. Concert Fantasia on motives from Verdi's opera Rigoletto by Luigi Bassi shows a flair for the dramatic. You'll hear the themes from the beloved opera, which tells the story of the tension between love and vengeance and duty over desire. It's a tale about the costs of revenge, the lengths a father will go for his child, and the consequences of living in a world full of both beauty and cruelty. Its themes of sacrifice and resilience resonate with the spirit of this Memorial Day celebration. Following this, we will hear Century of Progress by John Philip Sousa. It's a tribute to innovation and vision written for the famous World's Fair in Chicago. It helps us reflect on the hope and optimism of America's journey through the ages. Here now to play this virtuosic clarinet concerto, please welcome to the stage Chief Musician Noel Marcano. about another round of applause for our incredible soloist, chief musician Noel Marcano. As we shift gears, we honor the everlasting strength of our country's foundations with two very special songs. In reverence for the lives lost in the fight for American freedom, we offer these two hymns, which have endured in our collective conscience since the early 19th century. Eternal Father, Strong to Save is also known as the Navy hymn, with its refrain, "Oh, hear us when we cry to thee, for those in peril on the sea." This beautiful arrangement is by Claude T. Smith. After that is the poignant tune Amazing Grace, written in 1772 and arranged by Frank Ticheli. Then, with its contagious optimism, we perform the jaunty march A Step Ahead by Kenneth Alford, a tribute to those who march forward, ever ready, embodying the dedication that fuels our national spirit. it's more than the moon. Maybe it's more than the birds. Maybe it's more than the sight of the night in a light too lovely for words. Maybe it's more than the earth, shiny and silvery blue. Maybe the reason I'm feeling this way has something to do with you. It's so grand tonight for singing. The moon is flying high, and somewhere a bird who is bound to be heard is throwing his heart in the sky. It's so grand tonight for singing. The stars are up above. The earth is aglow, and to add to the show, I think I am falling in love. Falling in love. If I loved you time and again, I would try to say all I'd want you to know. If I loved you, words wouldn't come in an easy way. Round in circles I'd go, longing to tell you, but afraid and shy. I'd let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you'd leave me, off you would go in the mist of day, never, never to if I loved you. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning! Oh, what a beautiful day! I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy, it don't miss a tree. And an old weeping willow is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning! Oh, what a beautiful day! I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. beat like the wings of the bird that rise from the lake to the trees. My heart wants to sigh like the chime that flies from a church on a breeze, to laugh like a brook when it trips and falls over stones on its way, to sing through the night like a lark who is learning to pray. I go to the hills when my heart is lonely. I know I will hear what I've heard before. My heart will be blessed with the sound of music, and I'll sing once more. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into spring. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is a golden sky, and the sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never Thank you. Next is Gardens of Stone by American composer James Beckel, a tribute to the final resting places of brave men and women, their sacrifices etched in stone. The piece sets the powerful words of Presidents Reagan, Eisenhower, and Lincoln to music, weaving taps and other familiar themes into a stunning tapestry of Americana, a fitting remembrance for days like this. Here is Gardens of Stone. The willingness of some to give their lives so that others might live never fails to evoke in us a sense of wonder and mystery. Words spoken by President Reagan at Arlington National Cemetery, a garden of stone, resting place for more than 240,000 American military men and women. One gets the feeling that on this hallowed ground, the same poignant feeling that one gets looking across the rows of white crosses and stars of David in Europe, in the Philippines, and all other military cemeteries here in our own land. Each grave marks the resting place of an American hero, all different and yet all alike. As we honor their memory, let us pledge that their lives, that their sacrifices, that their valor shall be justified and remembered for as long as God gives life to this great nation. General Eisenhower spoke these words to his troops before the World War II invasion of Normandy. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. Abraham Lincoln's words at the dedication of Gettysburg, another garden of stone, are as poignant today, and indeed as powerful, as they were in 1863. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of it as a final resting place for those who died here, that the nation might live. This we may in all propriety do, but in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate. We cannot consecrate. We cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have hallowed it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, while it can never forget what they did here. It is rather for us, the living, we here be dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause, for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. That their sacrifices, that their valor shall be justified and remembered for as long as God gives life to this great nation. Gardens of stone, gardens of honor. Tribute to the heroes who gave their lives for this land, honoring their sacrifices and the patriot dream they defended. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a privilege to share this afternoon with you. If you've enjoyed today's performance, and we hope you have, stay connected with the Coast Guard Band. You can explore our ensembles, watch past performances, and follow along on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please feel free to share it with friends and family. Wondering what the Coast Guard Band is up to next? You'll find our full summer schedule online and on Facebook. We're especially excited for our next outdoor concert, June the 4th at 7 p.m. You can find all our concert announcements on Facebook and on our website. We hope you can make the trip all the way down to New London, Connecticut, and to the beautiful campus of the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. Before we bring this afternoon to a close, we have one more very important moment. To those here today who have served, and to the families who serve alongside you, we thank you. Your heroism lives in every measure, every note, and every moment of freedom this music honors. It has been our pleasure to perform for you all this Memorial Day. And now we ask that if you or a loved one has served in the armed forces, would you please stand when you hear your service song being played in this, the Armed Forces Medley. The United States Army.